Doge doubles down on what did you do last week emails with the new requirement. That's right. Doge have a new requirement. The left is up in an uproar because they believe they don't have to validate, they don't have to show what they've been doing in their time during the 8 hours they're supposed to be working. They believe they're above that. When in most places you have to you have to give a review and tell people what you've been doing. But I guess if you work for the government, you don't have to do any of that, which is just ridiculous. And he's not asking for much. He's not asking for much. We'll talk about the requirements, but he's not really asking for much. All he's saying is, give me a few bullet points to show me that you guys are alive. He called it a pulse check to show me that you're alive and you're doing your job. It's not, what's wrong with a couple of bullet points? It's not really that much. Okay, I went to the copier and printed out something. Whatever it is they do in those cushy jobs. But we gonna talk about it. But before we get started, go ahead and hit that like button. Share this out so we can get this information out there. Subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. And hit that alarm bell so you know when I'm putting out new stuff. Also, check out my link tree in the description. It has a link to my Patreon. That's where I talk about things that I can't talk about here. There's also a link to my Instagram and my X account, so follow me there as well. All right, so let's get into this news. Now, this comes from the New York Post, and they report that Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency has sent out a second mass email to executive branch employees requiring them to list their weekly accomplishment by midnight Monday, but with a new requirement accepting classified information. Musk has deemed himself tech support. You can see the picture right here. I love it. Tech support as his Doge initiative combs through the executive branch agencies. The new missive hit email boxes Saturday night via the Office of Personnel Management and bore the subject line, "What did you do last week? Part 2." In a callback to last week's Doge email that caused an uproar and confusion. Again, what is so confusing about it? Just give a few bullet points of what you did. Like, I could do that in 3 minutes. I could give you 10 things that I did in like 3 minutes. It's crazy that they make it like this is really a big deal. It's only a big deal if you do absolutely nothing in your day to day. That's the only way this will be a big deal. Any normal person can do a couple bullet points of what they did in the past week while they were working. Again, it's not that difficult. The federal employees have until 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time Monday to write an email listing 5 bullet points. See, the 5 bullet points describing what they accomplished last week. 5 bullet points is not hard. Like, what is difficult about that? You've done at least 5 things on your job, right? On your job where you get paid a salary. If you can't figure out 5 things that you did. The email added the new requirement that targeted agencies whose employees sought to be exempt from the extra paperwork due to the secretive nature of their work. Respondents were told not to send links, attachments, or any classified or sensitive information, and were given the option to write, quote, "All of my activities are sensitive." So they got an option. He said, quote, "Going forward, please complete the above task each week by Monday at 11:59 Eastern Time," the email stated. So they got to do it every week. Again, it's not, like, I don't understand what's the big deal. What is the big deal behind that? Let's see. Several of Trump's newly appointed agency heads told their employees to ignore Musk's accountability-minded email initiative, which is ridiculous. Why would you tell them that? Now, again, Trump is the head of the executive branch. He is the CEO, the chief executive officer. Why would you think it's okay to ignore that individual, that person, your boss? You're essentially ignoring your boss's emails. Both FBI Director Kash Patel and Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard told their agencies to ignore the demand. Musk took to X to emphasize that the emails is mandatory, responding to claims the Secretary Pete Hegseth has told the Department of Defense employees to circulate their reports internally as well as OPM. Wow. Musk at I'm sorry, that's just the image there. Quote, the president has made it clear that this is mandatory for the executive branch. Anyone working on classified or other sensitive matters is still required to respond if they receive the email, but can simply reply that their work is sensitive, the 53-year-old wrote on X. At the first cabinet meeting of President Trump's second term, Musk addressed the assembled secretaries and explained the purpose of the rote task. Quote, I think that email perhaps was misinterpreted as a performance review, but actually it was a pulse check review, Musk said while wearing a Make America Great Again hat. And that's basically what it is. You just want to make sure these people are actually doing it. They're doing some work. They're in the field. This is not a check that they're sending to someone that don't exist. It's just a pulse check. He said, quote, but what we are trying to get to the bottom of is we think there are a number of people on the government payroll who are dead, which is probably why they can't respond, Musk said, grinning. During an Oval Office meeting with French President Macron, President Trump said that those who don't answer the emails are at risk of being fired, again, which he have every right to do because he is the chief executive officer and this is the executive branch. So he's throwing stuff out there to make sure that these people are doing their job. Again, it's not a big deal. I had to do things like this before in the past myself. It's not a big deal. If you're doing your job, if you're doing your work, why are you worried about it? But obviously some people in government aren't liking it. They don't like to have to check in and explain themselves. They, again, like I said, they just have these cushy jobs and they don't want to be bothered on their cushy jobs while they're at home with their track mouse moving so it can pretend like they're actually doing work when they're not. It's crazy. But y'all let me know what y'all think about this. Leave your comments down below. Like, share, and subscribe, and check out jjthepsychotherapist.com. Oh, also check me out on Patreon. You know, this is the beginning of the month, so this is the best time to join Patreon. And I normally put out new stuff at the beginning of the month. I try to do some things towards the middle and the end as well, but assuredly I always try to post something the first few days of the month. So check out my Patreon for more information and news and stuff like that. Until next time, peace.